Shalom, when the start of souls by giving no praise to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Kakadash. Double honors to the Apostle Great Most High, and honors to you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh's real name, of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah or Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh. His son's true name is Yahweh Shai. And when we pray Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahushua, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning done, Sham meaning names Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. Real quick, this one's inspired by a conversation I had with someone I used to work with. One of the things we were just kind of just touching on was it was about like people preventing having children, like stopping themselves having children for the sake of a career. And one of the things that was kind of spoken of was one particular character that we used to work with, because Jake had basically said, that we live in a place that doesn't value family. And I said, but it's funny because this particular person that came up in conversation is from a land where they do, right? And one of the things he said back was, this land will corrupt you, right? Which, even on that, makes you think, it makes me, for instance, think of this scripture here, right? This is Matthew 7:13. Right, it says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and that's Strait, which places difficulty. Right, it says, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Right, because you get jakes that are all into all manner of things. You get jakes that are a little bit more aware about what's going on, right, but don't really have they haven't been led, right? They haven't been called to the right path, right? But they're privy to certain things. They're able to see certain things, right? But the Lord just ain't really working with them like that on that level, right? Which makes me think of this its position, its location, its thing itself escapes me right now. I know what it says. I think it's one of my favorites as well. Yeah, Matthew 13:16, right? I'll read into it, right? This is Matthew 13 from 13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing. Let me read from 11. So like he says, he answered and said unto them, because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. Right, and then we can jump over real quick to Amos 3 and 7. It says, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. Right, so that's that is of a truth, right? So the Lord reveals his secrets to his servants, right? And his servants, the prophets, because that's who the Most High is dealing with, right? Because the prophets, right, Lord's will, we be of those men, but our job is to go out there and to prophesy first to Israel, but then to the nations about what is to come, right? All for the glory of the name of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua. Right, so we come back to Matthew 13:11, right? So because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given, right? So we've been given this gift, okay? Right, scripture says a man can receive nothing except to be given him from the Most High, which is why with certain understanding, with certain things, and just spiritual growth, right? Those are things that if we want them, we've got to pray for them, right, and be willing, right, to to basically take what comes of that, okay, right, because what was the saying, another level, another devil, right? But this is James 1:5. Says, if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him, right? But let him ask in faith, right? Because this thing of ours is all about faith. But when we read the scriptures, this is what Ephesians 2:8. Right, it says, for by grace are ye saved through faith, right, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of the Most High, right? So just like the understanding of these scriptures are a gift, right, faith itself is a gift from the Most High, right, which goes to show you just how, just how rigged this game is, right? Because then when you read Hebrews 11, right, in fact, it will be a precept in here, so we just jump to it, right? Hebrews 11:6. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a reward of them that diligently seek him. Right? So it just shows just how rigged the game is. Right? Because on one hand, it's just like, well, without faith, it's impossible to please him, but faith is given. Right? So that's what, once again makes us think about, called and chosen, right? Which is where you get the concept of an elect from, right? Chosen from the foundation of the earth. You can read that in Ephesians, I believe, the first chapter, right? So let's carry on back in this, right? So this is Matthew 13:12, right? So it says, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance, but whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away even that he hath. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear, right, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. Right? And when you read the account in Isaiah 6:9-11, right, it basically in the 11th verse, right, it says, when will these people get it, right? And effectively, the answer is when it's too late. Okay, in that verse, in verse 11, it says, basically when the cities be wasted and everything. So we're lucky and we're blessed that we can see these things now. All right. So let me finish off, right? It says verse 15, so for this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. All right, so once again, a rigged game. So Lord Yahushua is like, look, like if I open their eyes, then then I've got to work with them. Right, the Lord's like, look, I don't want to work with them. Okay. But verse 16, which was the point, right? But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Right. And once again, that we went down this avenue, right, from the point and the idea that you speak to certain people in the world that the Lord has us encounter, right? And you can see certain people have certain inklings, right, but they haven't got it all. Right, and we have it all through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yeshua. So we are, very, very truly blessed, right? But yeah, once again, this Jake, he was just like, yeah, this land will corrupt you, right? And it is a true thing, right? Because and it's one of the things as well that we kind of say, and all a lot of men say, right, about like when you're dealing, for instance, with foreign women, right? He'll be like, yo, you got to get them in their first 6 months in the country, right? For instance, London, you get a lot of foreign women, right? All in a very compact area, but it's like, if you get them in the first 6 months, hey, things may run well, right? But if you get them later on, right, you start, having to basically deal with a Western woman, right? Because why? Because of the wine, right? Because of the wine that is pushed out constantly, whether it's in the media, then also by observation, okay? And even on that, saying that, it kind of makes me think about, something I remember one of the apostles, basically, I believe it was Apostle Raimla, did a stream, basically along the lines of, you men are the problem too, right? And obviously this isn't to absolve these women of blame, right? But one of the main reasons these women get away with what it is that they're doing is because of these men, right? And let's be real, I'll be at the job, and you're hearing men say bullshit like, excuse my French, but it's what it is, right? Like, happy wife, happy life, right? Men openly talking about getting a vasectomy, right? And you're just there like on your laptop working, like, yo, am I hearing this? Okay, but that's because these men have allowed, or what do you call it, the worst one? Oh, she wears the pants. Okay, and you're just there like, yo, what did I just hear, right? But that's that's just the world that has set up, right? Because this is the thing, it's something that has been pushed, and we'll get, I'll load up the wine as well, right? Because that's something that is very much pushed in this world, okay? So this is Jeremiah 31:22, says, how long will thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth, a woman shall compass a man. Okay, so imagine you've got a woman, that is from a country where it's very patriarchal, right? And then she comes over here and then she starts seeing women disrespecting men and then the men not responding and not doing anything about it, right? What's that eventually going to do, right? That's eventually going to seep into that individual, into that character, such that they start to behave that way, right? Whereas in their own country, they may have got backhanded for that particular act, right? When they observe that they can behave like that and worse, right? In the West, guess what? They're like, oh shit, yo, what is this? And then they start doing those things and start taking those characteristics on. Right, it's Habakkuk 2 and 15 says, "Woe unto them that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, right, makes them drunk, and also that they may look on their nakedness." Right, and that drink is talking about philosophies, right? Because when you when you watch these television programs from a spiritual lens, you realize the amount of witchcraft that is being pumped into these shows that we watch regularly, right? For my language learning and stuff, I'll be watching certain of these Korean shows, and once like knowing the culture, because once again, Korea is a culture where women are second class citizens, right? And we're not talking about North Korea, we're not talking about Kim Jong Un's Korea, we're talking about South Korea. Women are second class citizens, right? Like a man will backhand his chick. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that's an everyday occurrence, right? Like man, but it's still very much a men are at the top society. But when you're watching the television, right, and you're watching the Netflix shows, which Netflix is an agent of chaos, right? When I'll be watching, that's the only thing that comes to mind, that Netflix is an agent of chaos, right? Netflix will be having things in the shows that are completely unacceptable, right, in like Korean society, right? So, and that's just one aspect, right? So then you think about all of the TV that we've been watching from a young age, right? You be rewatching shows, right? For instance, a common trope in television is smart woman, dumb man, right? When you watch a lot of the cartoons that we grew up with, well, I mean, I'll speak for my generation, right? You'd be rewatching, watch certain clips, you're like, yo, this was just some straight, underhanded feminist bullshit, right? But that's that witchcraft, that's that wine that he has been pushing into the world, right? Such that we end up with Jeremiah 31:22, right? In this Western world, and through his media, right, through entertainment, through the internet, he's basically been pushing this throughout the world. This is Habakkuk 2 and 5. Just jump up a couple of verses. It says, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine." So it's philosophies again, right? It says, "He is a proud man, right, neither keepeth at home," which is why he's all over the world causing havoc, right? "Who enlargeth his desires hell, and desires death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." And one of the things that I think about when you're looking at the end of this verse, right, is the fact that once again you take this character that has come from a patriarchal, it's usually a woman, right? It's one of the things I've always kind of found interesting. It's like a lot of solo travelers are generally women, right? Slow that one up, right? But then guess what happens when they then go back to their countries? They're gonna remember what they've seen here, and they're gonna try and export those ideas to their family. So whereas before, your family back home, it will be a thing where it's like, oh, no, we don't get divorced. But then they'll have a family member in England or America, and they'll call him, and they'll be like, oh, you don't have to accept that. If he's, in the eyes of the world, if he's cheated on you, then you should leave him, right? Which a man can't cheat, right? If a man having dealings with another woman, that's single, there's nothing wrong with that according to the law, okay? But then what would happen is you're then exporting those ideas and beliefs from the West directly, to people, right? And then that's how you start having this erosion, right? This is I'll read both, right? Is it Sirach 25:25? "Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad," right? And that's one of the things that you see all throughout the world. And once again, like when they're here, they get corrupted, right? Because this world, this Western life is corrupting, right? As we read, he is as death, so he pushes philosophies of death. Okay, I just kind of want to get to the point. I don't want to. I'll just read this down, right? It says, Sirach 26:8, "A drunken woman and a gatherer abroad caused great anger, and she will not cover her own shame, right? So it says, the whoredom of a woman may be known in her haughty looks and eyelids. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, right? And for instance, once again, London has a lot of universities, right? But when you're walking around, near the campuses, right, because they're dotted literally all over the city, right, and outside the city as well. But you're seeing a lot of Moabites, right? People from all different parts of the world, right, that have come here to study, right? And once again, what you're going to be having there, freak offs and all of that nonsense that's going to be, then indoctrinated and taken back home to be spread back home. Okay. But we can leave that, right, for the time being. So let's jump back to Micah 2:10, right? It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, right? Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction, right? Even when I'm on the way to work, I just be kind of, looking at people, and you're just like, these people are filthy, right? The things that they do are filthy. The things that they accept is filthy and defend, right? And when you're really just kind of thinking about it, it's like, when you've got children, you're growing up here, right? They're gonna get corrupted by this. When you've got people that aren't basically around or bound by the laws of the Most High, they're gonna get corrupted by this wickedness. Okay, but because ultimately they've got no real reason to say, nah, don't be getting into that, right? We've got the reason, right? Certain of the things that people will, oh, I just try it once, right? We read the laws like, nah, you can't be doing that shit. That's wickedness, right? But all of that sort of stuff is normal here. It's normalized, which is why you read about Lot, right? Lot. It says this. So Second Peter's 2, right, and 6 is, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? And if this isn't, that place on steroids, then, right? It says, into ashes condemn them with an overthrow, making them an example unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. And we're in Lot's stead right now, right? Because we're here, and we're basically just watching and observing what the hell is going on here. And it's disgusting, right? It is genuinely disgusting, right? Which is why we yearn for the kingdom to come, right? And that's what, for instance, the scripture says. This is Ezekiel 9. And forces in your house said unto him, go to the midst of the city, to the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Right, and to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye, let's break this down, right? Go to the midst of the city, to the midst of Jerusalem, right? And Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, right? It was the second Maccabees, 5:19, something like that, right? It says, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, right? And who's really crying out, right? Who's really crying out, right? It's the men of the Lord, starting with the apostles on down, right? Because once again, on the whole kind of premise of this topic about how you get people in the world that can kind of see certain things, but their tether only goes so far, right? They don't cry out for all of the the dark stuff. They may know about hey, you shouldn't be living the liquid lifestyle. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be committing adultery and this, that, and the other, right? But they don't truly believe nor understand just the depths of wickedness, right, in this kingdom. Okay. And therefore they're not crying out about it. If you told them about the P rings, right, they gonna be like, no, I mean, that's you're going a bit far there, mate, don't you think? Right? Because it's something so absurd, right, that really you have to be someone that actually understands just who it is that we're dealing with here. And in fact, I'll close on that. It's Hosea 4:6, right? It says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, right? And a key bit of knowledge, right? We got the names of the Father, Yahweh, name of the Son, Yahushai. So extremely important bits of knowledge, right? But another bit of important knowledge is who your enemy is, right? Because when people see this Edomite, they just, he's just little old E, right? But this time, this is the devil we're dealing with, okay? And if you don't know that, then ultimately, when he comes out with his juices, when he comes out with his, the ultimate thing, the MOTB, right? You're gonna trust this man, right? You're not gonna think that he would have, intentions to harm you. You're not gonna think that, all of this has been a ploy from the beginning, okay? 100 year, not even 100, several 100 year plan, right? But we understand through the Spirit, once again, right? It's something that's been gifted to us. We understand who this man is, right? And we understand, pursuing Sirach 12, never to trust this guy. Okay, so as my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of the Most High, and I will also forget thy children. So as always, Lord, that was edifying. Till next time we say, Shalom.